Moscow, Sputnik, Sofya Grebenkina, the government of the Central African Republic, CAR, will sign a peace agreement with the armed groups in the country's capital of Bangui on Monday or Tuesday, 4 to 5 February. Adolphe Nahayo, the Economic Community of Central African States (ECCAS) ambassador to CAR, told Sputnik, the agreement will be signed in Bangui on Monday or Tuesday, Nahayo said. The African Union brokered negotiations between the CAR government and militant leaders started last week in Sudan and ended earlier on Saturday. The parties to the African Union brokered talks in the Sudanese capital have agreed on a mixed border security mechanism between Bangui, the armed groups and the UN mission to the crisis-torn country. Read more. African Union encourages Russia to participate in CAR's future peace conference. They agreed on mixed mechanism between MINUSCA, UN Multidimensional Integrated Stabilization Mission, the government, UN troops, and some people from armed groups in national forces where they can be deployed. This mechanism will secure the borders and to keep safe the animals which are passing through some areas, Adolphe Nahayo said. Moreover, the CAR government and the armed groups have agreed to appoint a special commission that would account all crimes committed since 2013. Now in justice they agreed that they will appoint a commission, armed groups and government, to account all the crimes which have been committed since 2013 during this crisis, and they will make a report to a National Commission of Reconciliation, which will clarify which crime is against humanity, which crime can be a war crime, because those have to pass to the International Criminal Court. The others it will be transitional justice. And between the work of that commission there will be no judicial action, Adolphe Nahayo said. Read more. UN condemns killing of peacekeeper in Central Africa's Bangui. According to Nahayo, President of the Central African Republic, CAR, Faustin Archange Touadera will appoint a new prime minister a week after the signing ceremony of the peace accord. Now, when the agreement is done, the president will appoint a new prime minister and they will compose a new, inclusive government. The appointment will take place as soon as possible. A week after the peace agreement is signed, they are supposed to appoint a new prime minister, Adolphe Nahayo said. The African Union-led talks that commenced on the 24th of January are the first direct talks between the government of the CAR and 14 of the country's opposition groups. The CAR government sent a delegation to the talks of senior ministers, led by the president's chief of staff, Firmin Ngrabata. The landlocked CAR has been suffering from a drawn-out conflict since a coup in 2013. Much of the fighting in recent years has been between Muslim-majority Seleka and Christian anti-Balaka militias. According to the United Nations data, up to 6,000 people have been killed. In August 2018, the two groups agreed to establish a platform for consultations on sustainable peace in the CAR. The groups then also called on the government to engage in the work on reconciliation with support from Russia, the European Union and other regional and international players. The Russian Foreign Ministry said in late October it intended to keep helping the CAR in rebuilding its national armed forces. The ministry said that, in early 2018, Moscow supplied the CAR army with a batch of small arms and ammunition while sending 175 military advisors to train CAR servicemen. The ministry added that Moscow would send more military advisors and a second batch of military supplies to the African country, and stressed that all such assistance programs were being carried out in compliance with the UNSC sanctions regime. Meanwhile, the UN Security Council has unanimously voted for the extension of the arms embargo against the Central African Republic for a year. Under the draft resolution sponsored by France, the Security Council established benchmarks, including reforming the government's security sector, disarming and demobilizing militias, and managing weapons, that should be met by the end of April to lift the embargo. If the CAR government meets the key benchmarks by the 30th of September, the Security Council will reconvene to ease the arms embargo measures, the text of the resolution released on Thursday said. Read more. UN calls for end to targeted attacks on civilians in Central Africa.